Boyfriend poured water over my head to shut me up. I genuinely don't know what to do anymore. I got into a new relationship at the start of lockdown, this being my third serious relationship after having two fairly mentally abusive exes. In the beginning I had originally said that after me and my last ex split, there was absolutely no contact, when in fact there had been, but this was only a few conversations and one final meet to give each other stuff. No messing around, no sleeping together, etc. Anyway, I stumbled over a story which made it come to light for him that I may not have been entirely truthful about that. My current boyfriend, 29 male, found this really hard and saw it as a breach of trust. Whilst I wouldn't have seen it as such, I did make an effort to understand and to make it known that it wasn't from a place of deceit. My ex mentioned above then called me a few months into this relationship that I am in now, called me on a random number, so I answered and realized it was my ex. We had a short conversation in which I told him that I was not interested in being friends, catching up, etc., as I was now in a new relationship and I was happy. I messed up here because I kept this to myself for about 4 months, until I did eventually tell my boyfriend. This again proved to be a massive betrayal of trust, which I do understand, but I also know myself and I know that fear was the overriding cause to me not just being open about this instance. I think I've been scared and fearful of all my partners, because of my own experience and partly because of how I watched my parents operate. Fast forward further into my relationship with my partner now. We have moved out of the city I grew up in and away from everything we know to move closer to his parents. His mum is really ill with terminal cancer, so we moved here in order to be closer for support and to enjoy the time we do have. I am very happy in this relationship and I love him dearly, but the moment an inconvenience happens, or where we become confrontational with each other, he turns really nasty. He says the most horrendous thing, comments that are orchestrated to only cause me pain and upset, and now it's progressed into his actually lashing out, not violently towards me, but I am scared it could eventually get to that stage. He calls me a liar all the time, as if because of things that have happened, this then nullifies anything I have to say during a disagreement. He also tells me to pack up my stuff and move out every time, which I feel is making my anxiety go through the roof because I now never feel sure about where home is. He throws objects around, and this morning during a confrontation, I was sat down just being human and talking in a tone of voice which would have demonstrated that I was feeling a bit miffed. He poured cold water over my head. Sad face. I know this isn't violent, but it made me feel really small and disrespected. I don't know what to do. He is abusive. You need to leave. Dude, he is being violent. He's throwing stuff around. He got physical with you, he physically threw water at you. He can't have an adult conversation without personal attacks. He's abusive. Get out. What you're describing is emotional abuse that is starting to escalate into physical. This is an abusive relationship. Perhaps less physical abuse than your previous relationships, but no less abusive. Emotional abuse is also abuse, and often escalates to physical violence over time. I strongly suggest that you exit the relationship and get into some therapy. You've normalized abusive patterns, and that is what allows you to keep choosing men like this. People who haven't normalized abuse would have walked away the first time he started slinging insults or kicked you out of the house. You stay because it doesn't register for you that these things are abuse or not normal. This is abuse and it is escalating in violence. You need to go op. Also, exchanging stuff and a call from a random number is not keeping contact with your ex. So don't worry about that part. I know this isn't violent, but it made me feel really small and disrespected. Because it is. Imagine your kid coming home and telling about a bully who did the same thing, or the teacher. You would be upset. You are not respected in this relationship at all. This is clearly toxic. He has to elaborate about this attitude, to make sure it never happens again. Is he much older than you? Feels like he can get away with things like this because you are not equal in this relationship. A healthy, mature woman would kick him to the curb and give him ultimatum. So, for me it feels like an abusive parent-submissive child dynamic. Dump him. I only read the title, but dump him. You don't deserve that. You are in another abusive relationship. He started with emotional abuse and is gradually escalating the physical abuse. You need to get out and work with a domestic violence charity to help you break the cycle of getting involved with these men. My fiance, 25, F. might be planning to cheat on me, 27, M. I don't even know where to begin with this. I'm so anxious about it to the point where I've thrown up this morning. So, I started a new medication to control my anxiety a few weeks ago, and I've found that it is already working wonders. I feel normal again. This is important, and I'll explain why shortly. But lately, she's been speaking to someone over Discord that she works with, a WFH company, and she admitted to me last week that she had been flirting with this guy and felt guilty about it. She said she told him to stop since it wasn't fair to me. I thought, okay, that's better than being cheated on, and I at least appreciate you telling me. But truth be told, my trust has been shattered. I've been cheated on once before, and it brought all of those feelings rushing right back to the point where I'm in a constant fight or flight mode. I'm always suspicious of her talking to this guy ever since she told me about it, and last night I did some digging. I found that the flirting did not stop, and they've made tentative plans to meet up from what I've read. The messages have been somewhat sexual in nature, and kind of akin to the messages I used to receive when we had first started dating. He lives one state below us, and it's not the worst drive in the world to get there. I feel like this could be a problem sooner than later. In the messages, I found that she is no longer attracted to me, and that I'm an emotional burden. While I was unmedicated for anxiety and depression, I can absolutely attest that I was a lot to deal with, and I am trying my absolute best to get back to where we were when we first started dating. But with this on my plate right after I get medicated for it again, it makes it impossible to bear. She wants to try counseling to see if we can work through things, but I am struggling so hard to find any sense of trust in that statement. I feel like she is trying to find an out. I told her to stop talking to this guy, and she just countered with, "So, do you not want me to talk about my hobbies anymore or?" No, I don't have a problem with your hobbies. I have a problem with him. I don't know what to do, and I feel like I'm mostly just venting because I'm hurting really fucking badly over this. My trust is obliterated and I never thought she would be the type to do this. I don't even think I got most of what I wanted to say out, but at this moment, I'm struggling to think. What do I do, guys? I'm so stuck, and every time I've confronted her about it, it has always gone sideways. She doesn't know that I know the full extent of what I know, and I intend to keep it that way. But holy hell, I don't know how long I can keep a face up and do this. Too long did not read. Fiance is possibly planning to cheat on me with a guy she works with. I'm horrified at the possibility. She's 25, not attracted to you and thinks you're an emotional burden. And she's telling that to someone else, not a therapist, while she's engaged. She may already resent you and staying engaged with her may end up being the worst decision of your life. She's already cheating. Don't marry her. You do not have a problem with him, you have a problem with your girlfriend. She considers you to be an emotional burden, isn't attracted to you, and is interested in her coworker. She didn't tell the coworker to stop flirting with her because she didn't like him. She asked him to stop flirting because it wasn't right to do to you. There's no medication that'll make you the other dude she's seeing. She wants to be with someone else, you know that now, and it's better to just move on than string along the drama further and end up with PTSD. Work on yourself during this time so you can be your best self for your next partner. I think it is time to reconsider this relationship. She doesn't really seem all that committed to you. You can't counsel someone into respecting you and being faithful to you, so I think the counseling is just a clever band-aid to try and hide the wound and keep you around. Why are you even entering this bullshit? Cut her loose. You can do way better. Break things off for your own mental health. I found that she is no longer attracted to me, and that I'm an emotional burden. And you aren't even married to her yet. Run now. If my significant other ever said once I was an emotional burden, I would be out the relationship on the spot. No need for her to cheat. That would be more than enough. She's obviously monkey branching. Better for your self-esteem to hit first and dump her. You weren't given that chance the first time you were cheated on, now you have it. Don't get married to this woman. I, 23F, want to go on a 3-day trip but my boyfriend, 26M, says we'll break up if I go. Hi everyone, I'd like to thank you in advance for taking the time to read and comment on my post. Any input is welcome. Preface: me and my boyfriend have been together for 6 years, live together with his parents. We've had a lot of ups and downs but we've established trust and have talked about our future and love each other very much. My boss has a condo in Rosarito which he is allowing me and my coworker Jane, 23F, to stay at for the weekend. Neither of us have ever been, so we are so excited. Before this opportunity arose, I had begged my boyfriend and his family for us to take a trip to Rosarito and they've always said no. That it's dangerous and they'd never go. I never felt that it was too dangerous because I spent a lot of my childhood in TJ since my godparents live over there. So I am very excited to take this trip and enjoy myself. When I brought it up to my boyfriend, we played around a little bit, teasing each other about it and him saying, "Where are you going to live when you come back?" We both laughed this off because I don't think he'd actually do that. After all, we've been together so long and are happy together. As we talked about more, the banter kind of turned into an argument and he was very firm that he doesn't want me to go and that if I did, we would break up. This caught me so off guard because I thought we were both at a place in our relationship where we trust each other and nothing can break us. I told him he's manipulating me and that if he's willing to break up with me over that, then maybe it's for the best. My trip is in 2 weeks and I'm growing weary of my decision because I do not want us to end, but I also do not want to live my life under his terms. What do you guys think? Should I go? Go on the trip. It will be good for him to learn to trust you in those situations. You can't live the rest of your life like you're in jail. If he breaks up with you because of that, then he's not the one. If he is willing to break up with you over this, then he is clearly not the right person for you to be dating. Honestly, even threatening to do so would be a deal-breaker for me. I told him he's manipulating me and that if he's willing to break up with me over that, then maybe it's for the best. Damn, good for you. Screw this guy, enjoy your trip. Your boyfriend is being controlling and manipulative. And it's only going to get worse. Being given an ultimatum about going on a vacation seems a bit ridiculous to me. Like you said, if he's willing to break up with you over that, then maybe it's for the best. Sounds like abusive relationships. Is your boss going to be there? If so, and if the boss is a man, then I would be very skeptical of my girlfriend taking this trip. If it's just you and your friend, then yeah, totally go. You have 2 choices. Go. Or live life under his terms. You have said that you want the former and do not want the latter. Simple. Will your boss be there? Will anyone else be there? It might sound off to him that your boss invites you and one other young female to his condo for the weekend. Still, it sounds like he is not talking to you rationally about his concerns. It sounds like he is being immature, controlling, and does not trust you. Be aware that if you stay for him and the relationship, you may be doing things like this the rest of your life. My husband yelled at his best friend because of me and I feel bad? My husband and his best friend work in a similar field, so sometimes my husband finds clients for his best friend to help make him some money. To help understand the situation better, I'll say that this all took place at a martial arts gym. The best friend showed up about 30 minutes late and brought some friends with him. I had just finished martial arts class and was sitting on a bench as the best friend walked in with some guys I've never met before. He says hi to me and asks if I want to go 1 round with one of the guys he brought with him. I really didn't feel like it, as there was a significant height plus weight difference. I said no, but eventually ended up agreeing. The guy, I didn't even get his name, asks if he should take his shirt off, to which I say no. Mind you, we're grappling, very close contact sport, WTF? To which I hear another older man say, only if she takes her shirt off. That pissed me off so much, but I ignored it. My husband was working with a client at this time and was about 35 feet away from us. He stayed working with clients and I went home. I told my husband about this when he got home in a few hours and he was pissed. He called his best friend and yelled at him for yet again bringing his asshole friends along. He also said that it's his responsibility to keep an eye out for me when he brings his stupid ass friends around me and my husband is not nearby. This wasn't necessarily the best friend's fault, but my husband said he shouldn't have brought them there in the first place. To summarize, my husband was mad about the following things. 1. The sexual comment about me taking my shirt off, making me uncomfortable. 2. Sexualizing the sport for women. 3. The best friend asking me to go around with an inexperienced taller heavy guy without a supervising coach. 4. The best friend bringing stupid guys around and not standing up for me when they verbally harass me. The friend apologized, but now I feel a little uncomfortable that my husband took this out on his best friend on my behalf. What about it makes you feel uncomfortable? It sounds like your husband was standing up for you after you were out in an inappropriate situation. He didn't do it on your behalf. He did it on his own behalf, because ignoring behavior like this hurts everyone. Good for your husband. Your husband is a champ. Well, yeah, your husband is right. Basically, his friend brought strangers and they were being disrespectful. Your husband feels that he put you in a situation that you shouldn't have been in. And his friend should know better. There's nothing to feel bad about that. Your husband's best friend was at fault and it was his responsibility to put his asshole friend in his place, but he didn't. You should be happy that your husband took stand for you and his best friend took the responsibility as well after he was called out. Shit happens, and you shouldn't ever feel sorry about being sexually harassed just because it came from a person you know. Your husband is awesome for calling out this creepy bullshit. Girl, just sit down and enjoy what a real man should act and do to protect their partner. The friend deserved getting ripped a new one, so don't stress over your husband standing up for you.